Should Gideon also have received the band hammer just now with the kitty cat? Yo, what up? Welcome in. Much love, Trav here, Washington, D.C. Sun's shining, beautiful, beautiful day. Going for a walk. About to do some yoga, play some basketball tonight at the Jewish Community Center up here on 18th Street with some old friends. Tomorrow, going to the start of the draft camp. Actually, there might even be a draft tonight. A bunch of pros going to be there. Honored to be there. It's in Fairfax, comics and gaming. I'm supposed to be there at 11 a.m. and it tells me it's a 2-hour bus ride. Pretty brutal. Anyways, as we're going on this walk, welcome in. Much love, Trav here. Welcome in. Much love, Trav here. Talk a little bit more in depth about the bannings. Why bannings happen, what Wizards could have done. Make sure it's recording, looks good. Have to make a cross here, hang on, this is a difficult cross. Throw the hang loose, yup, he gave me the, give it a little jog out. Headed to the park. So, making this video because, for a few reasons, just an excuse to talk and interact, easy fodder, but also because so many people left comments saying, yo, it's the wrong card. You guys banned the wrong card. Gideon should have gone. And it's not just noobs and scrubs who have been saying this, but actually some good players I respect. Although it's a minority opinion, so I'm going to treat it with respect. Spoiler alert, I don't think Gideon should have been banned. However, I think it should have rotated by now. It's not like way too good. It's annoying. It's been in too long. It'll go soon enough, but personally, I liked the mini rotation announcement that Wizards made where they're going to have one set rotate with each set coming in. I like that a lot because it means more opportunity to build new decks, more opportunity for change, more opportunity for me and the people I work with to have an advantage. It's going to mean less net decking because there's more times when there's no decks to copy. No tournament decks to copy. And Wizards went back on that because they respond to complaints. Although I don't even think there were that many complaints. But also because I get that it adds a lot of confusion. It creates the situation where people are going to show up to their F&M with old cards and be like, sorry, you can't play with those. So I kind of get why they did it, but to me, in an ideal world, Gideon already rotated and that problem was solved. Now, should it have been banned? First of all, why even ban things in the first place? Well, from the players, it's like, well, ban things because when they warp the format, when they're too good. Well, what about Wizards' perspective from R&D? Yeah, but they're also like banning things to increase revenue, or probably more accurately ban things to stop the fall of revenue. It's like, oh God, this is going, the new set's not selling, we need to ban something from the old set so people have to pick up the new set. And that's probably why they did it. So, I mean, from the outside perspective for Felidar, it's incredibly restrictive. It makes everybody play Ballista, Walking Ballista and Thalia just to have a chance. It totally invalidates mid-range, reducing the format to 2.5 decks. It really narrows things down. It prevents you from playing cards that cost 5 or more mana. With sorcery speed, you can't play a card like a Johnny because they'll just untap and kill you. So that makes sense, but it's also like, well, wait a minute. No one really needs the new set here because Saheeli is the best deck, and all Saheeli needs is like a couple Glory Bringers, a Manglehorn, and a few Pull from Eternities. Therefore, it looks like no one needs Amonkhet. A lot of people said I'm not buying Amonkhet if it's not banned. So the bans are to improve the format, also increase card sales. So let's take a look at Gideon here. And we have a little bit of both. First of all, again, I think Gideon should have rotated. It's annoying, but Gideon is not nearly as restrictive as Saheeli was. You look at the first Gideon Pro Tour, Battle for Zendikar, there was a lot of Gideon in the top 8. I think there was 5 decks playing it, but There was an aggro deck, there was a control deck in there, there was a green-white tokens, there was an Abzan mid-range, there was a Jeskai mid-range. What Gideon was doing is it was reducing the number of 4-drops you can play. It wasn't really reducing the archetypes. So a lot of different things were seeing play. And furthermore, after that Pro Tour, Gideon kind of fell off a bit. I mean, yeah, you had it in green-white tokens, but there was a long time when Bant Coco was the best deck, was a third of the metagame. It did not play Gideon. We had Rally the Ancestors as the best deck for a minute, did not play Gideon. We had Black-White Control, won the Pro Tour, not really tier 1, played Gideon in the sideboard. We had Mardu, first Mardu Vehicles Pro Tour. Not everyone played Gideon. Most people were not playing 4 in the main. And then you had Pro Tour Saheeli, which Saheeli admittedly did not do well at because Mardu gobbled it up and no one showed up with mid-range because mid-range had no chance. And mid-range is what would have kept Mardu in check. And the winning deck had, what, 2 Gideons in the main, 2 in the side. And then that brings us to where we are now, where, well, is Gideon really that oppressive to archetypes, or is it just oppressive to what 4 you can play? Once Coco rotated out, the other modern level 4-drop, it's like, okay, fine. So Gideon's the best 4. You could also play Nahiri. You can also play Tamio. You can also play Chandra. Guess what? You can play Marvel. Guess what? They're all planeswalkers for the most part. Wizards needs to step up their 4-drop creatures if they want to, or maybe they just want planeswalkers to keep selling so that they have the nice storyline and they have, you know, they like that gameplay. I think Gideon's a little aggressive, but Gideon doesn't stop you from playing control. Gideon does not stop you from playing mid-range. Gideon does not stop you from playing aggro. It just restricts the amount of playable 4s. So I don't think it needs to be banned for power reasons. Again, it should have rotated. The question is whether Wizards should ban things to increase sales. Now, it can work when you have something, you have a situation so extreme when players are saying, I'm boycotting Amonkhet unless you ban this thing. I'm not going to play Standard. I quit Standard. But you also have the issue of bannings causing players to quit. Their previous ban was really, really poor, really bad. A lot of players stopped going. Again, I have a friend, Connor, works at the gas station in Arcata. He's got a new job now, but it's basically buying an Emrakul Marvel deck with some minimum wage earnings. It's like, what? Didn't see him at Monday Night Magic after that shit was banned, obviously, right? And that's the story of a lot of people, is like, I just bought this new deck and you banned it, and I don't even have the money to buy another deck, so I'm forced to quit. Thank you, Wizards. So Wizards needs to be very, very careful about bans. I'm undecided on the Emrakul ban. I don't think Copter. Well, the thing about the Copter ban is, like, now we make people buy Heart of Kirin. That might have worked well. I haven't seen the numbers, but I did see some numbers where Wizards is doing quite well with money this year, so maybe it's working just fine for them. Although I doubt it, with so few LGSs firing Standard, that can't be good for the new set. I think a lot of the money might be for cash grab, Modern Masters, Iconic Masters type stuff. I do need to make a video on Iconic Masters. But that brings us back to right now. If Gideon is banned, and I don't think it does for balance reason, is it necessary to ban to boost Amonkhet sales? Well, I'm not sure there's really any 4s that are being 4-drops that are being boxed out from Amonkhet. It just, they didn't make any new 4-mana planeswalkers. You have Nissa, whatever. You've got Pull from Eternity. Glorybringer is good versus Gideon. Glorybringer eats Gideon for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So I just don't see it. I don't think it needs to be banned. I think it would make people even more distrustful than they already are, which is very, very distrustful. And you take a look at the series of decisions they made. First of all, they made a decision to print Felidar, and somehow they missed that combo, which is just totally shocking to me. It's hard for me to even believe. And before that, they put Saheeli on all their promo stuff, like, look at us. We're so socially forward. And it's embarrassing to be at that Pro Tour when no one played Saheeli. It's bad. And then it's like, I bet you they're going to print something to make it good. And they did, but it was accidental. And then they make a ban announcement immediately, and they didn't ban it. And then there was a second chance they could ban it, and they didn't ban it. And then there was a third time they could ban it, and they didn't ban it. Then they surprise banned it the fourth time. Now, I actually think the surprise ban was correct because they just had to, I mean, it was pretty incorrect considering all the other options they could have taken. They could have gone, they should have not printed it. They should have banned it the first time. They should have banned it the second time. They should have banned it the third time. Emergency surprise banning it the fourth time, not very good, but it's the 1, 2, 3, 4, it's the fifth best outcome, so I could easily imagine them have chosen the 6th or 7th or 8th or 9th best. So I think that was all right. Gideon can go. Heart of Kieran's too good, but it can stay. Gideon doesn't need to go. Cat needs to go. Now we're open to playing mid-range again. We're gonna see cards like a Johnny be good again. Cards like Ishkanah are gonna be good again. Cards like Angel of Sanctions will have a chance. Glorybringer, obviously. Various other planeswalkers, like you can main Ob Nixilis now if you want to do that. You could main Sorin again if you want to do that. You can tap out for big Gear Hulks. You don't have to main Walking Ballista. You don't have to main Thalia and Manglehorn. You don't have to play Authority of the Consuls and then get ranched by planeswalkers. You have a lot of freedom to build now. Before, it was so strict what you had to do to have a chance. Like you build mid-range, you have to play 4 Ballista, you have to play Thalia, you have to play a bunch of instants, and your deck still probably sucks versus Saheeli. But now, really, you can do whatever you want. It's great. The constraints of the format are you need to be concerned about the high end of the blue Gear Hulks. You need to be concerned about the low end, the real fast stuff. But if you're able to work within those constraints, you can almost do anything right now. This format, yeah, like every other format, it's gonna kind of blob into 2 or 3 best decks, but I don't think it's gonna be like before when there was the 2 best decks were 70% of the meta, and then it was getting worse before the ban. Actually, Saheeli was 40% by itself. So ultimately, they fixed things. Good fix. Happy for it. And I'm excited to see what's going to happen. So let's stay positive and say thank you, WotC. Thank you, Wizards, for finally taking action. No, they didn't relocate or fire anyone that we know of. And by the way, for those of you guys who made it this far, Marrow is not the problem. I know some people are like, Marrow's the problem, Marrow's the problem. Marrow is, here's how R&D works. There's 2 teams. There's a development team and there's a design team. The design team comes up with the flavor of the worlds and some of the mechanics. And the development team balances them for competitive play. The development team failed here, not the design team. The design team did fine. I think Kaladesh's had cool flavor. Emrakul had cool flavor. Eldritch Moon had cool flavor. The Delirium mechanic's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. The vehicles mechanic, I think, is fine and kind of fun to play with and not that annoying to play against. The problem is just that some of the cards are way too good. They're unbalanced. It's the development team that fucked up competitive play. It's not Marrow. The design team's doing fine. Development team's fucking up. right? Just get that straight. Not gonna name any more names because I'm not in there seeing what's going on, but if I had to point you to a team that has failed, it's not the design team, it's the development team. These sets are great in theory, it hasn't been balanced for competitive play. And yeah, it's not easy to do, but someone needs to take it when they fuck it up. We're looking at tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars on the line. Tens of millions of players. We want a good format. If you fuck it up for everyone, then maybe we fuck it up for you. So, should be alright. Should be good. I'm excited now. Standard's gonna be fun. I'm excited to play. So, let's fucking do it. You go low. See you in the comments. And let me know what you think. Peace and love. Much love.